Hey guys, what's going on? This is John Fears. Welcome back to Fearsman26. We have a very special guest today. Interview part 2 of the myth, the man, the legend, the one and only, my buddy, my pal, TommyNC2010. Here we are, right here. Tommy, what is going on, my friend?
Nothing but perfection. Things are taking place.
Mm-hmm.
We're here in the spectrum of YouTube, in the
I
spectrum
of the
John Fears channel.
The hat, the studio, the play button in the back. I love it. You got the rings. This is going to be fun, Tommy. Thank you so much for allowing me to interview you a second time, my friend. We had to cut the first one short, but I hope you're ready because I got some deep questions. And also, guys, at the end of this interview, we've got a great surprise. I'm going to allow Tommy. Me and Tommy are going to promote something very special at the end of this interview. So we'll save that to the end. All right, Tommy, first question. So last time we got into a little bit of your YouTube career, but first question right out of the bat, I wanted to know, let's say YouTube was never invented. YouTube was never a thing. Would you have seen yourself still pursue a career in some type of film industry job, or would you have taken a different route, or would you have gotten a job in something else? That's the first question right out of the bat.
Well, the thing is that I was making videos on Facebook and doing little odds and ends and things, and and partially my mom was the reason why I got involved with YouTube, because one day we were just chilling at the Huddle House here in Black Mountain, and she's like, I said, I don't know what to do with myself, Mom, because Maid's over. So she said, why don't you just make music videos on YouTube? And I'm like, music videos? And so that's when I started like doing little journal entries, little vlog entries here and there.
Mm-hmm.
And then later on down the road, I started like editing my video, putting my videos together, making mini vlogs and stuff like that.
But that's my point. What I asked was, let's say YouTube was never a thing. Like YouTube was never invented ever on the face of the planet. Well, my question was, do you think you would have like in this dimension, YouTube is not a thing. It hasn't been invented. My question was, do you think you still would have pursued something in film?
Possibly, but
Or do you think you would have went another route and pursued another career, or would you have done videos on the side and done a different career, or what?
I would say, I at the time I was a clerk at a grocery store, so like I was doing that, and so there's a lot of things that in my life that I go to different tracks and different ways of doing things.
Understandable. All right. Next question. We didn't get to this last time. Is there a single project that you've worked on YouTube that defines your YouTube career, your most significant project, your best accomplished project out of all your content on YouTube? What would define what single project would define your career, defined your most accomplished project? Would you say your best polished project? Which one would that be?
That would be in my opinion, the 28 Years Later documentary that I made about meeting my biological mother. Me and Hamza both worked really hard on that to make that complete. It originally was supposed to be a whole documentary, like all together, like long documentary. But then someone told me that, Tommy, you should break it down, and there'd be more views on the video if you put one video out, one series out, and then put the next series out on the next day. And that's what I did.
Okay. Fair enough. Okay. Next project. If you could work with, you've worked with a lot of professional people, some famous people, some other YouTubers, different collabs. What's one person? They can be a famous person. They can be another YouTuber. What's someone professionally, either in the YouTube industry or the movie industry, that you haven't got to work with yet, but you want to work with? And why? And why? Why that person?
Possibly Larry David. Larry David is a writer. He wrote Seinfeld. If I ever got a chance to meet him before he passes away, because he's not getting younger. But another person is David Dobrik. He's an ex-vlogger, but
he's kind of went off. He's kind of went off, and he did first. He had one channel, and now he had two channels. Now he doesn't do anything on both of those channels. Then he did a lot on TikTok, and now I don't know what he does. I don't think he does
mostly. He does these little daily videos with his friends on Facebook. Like, he uploads a video every once in a while of him just chilling with his friends. But I think ever since the incident with Dirty Dom, I think that David's kind of sat back on his money now, and I think that he's just living his life to the fullest and just enjoying his retirement. Which,
I mean, because he's made so much money, you don't really need to make content, anymore. Because to me, I mean, I think he's went beyond YouTube
100 times. Thanks to SeatGeek. This video is sponsored by SeatGeek.
Yes, I mean, I wouldn't know what to do with all that money and all those subs. I mean, it would be awesome, but I'm sure it could be quite overwhelming too. Because you have a sense of. Me personally, I would just keep making money, and I would keep making content. Like, the last thing I would do was stop making content for my fans. But
I heard allegedly that he wasn't making any money on his videos because of the song, that song at the beginning of his video. Apparently, that was copywritten from a rap song, and every time he would put it in his vlogs, his videos would get demonetized. But how he made his money was his merch and all his sales and the sponsors. People were sponsoring him, SeatGeek, and that's how he made his money. And he apparently he was making some money through YouTube, but most of his deals was through his brand deals and stuff like that.
Now, I hope this isn't a sensitive question. I really wanted to get to this. You've mainly been focusing on your new show, and I want you to promote your new show. What is your new show called, for people that don't know, and what's it all about?
It's the Super Fun Time Show. It's a comedy variety show where we talk about news, we talk about topics, and it's on the new channel, the Super Fun Time Show on YouTube. And we do skits, we do all sorts of stuff. We have a great time. It's me, Justin, and Tyler. And
nice.
We have a good time. We talk about all sorts of topics. And I've been meaning to, put content on my channel, but I don't know. Sometimes I just don't do it.
Well, that goes into my next question. So the reason why I started this was I hope I'm not crossing a line here when I ask this is, do you think the fans miss all the old content and the vlogs and the MCs and the Tommy Talks and all that? And do you think eventually all that stuff will come back? Or are you just going to leave it in the past and just focus mainly on maybe some vlogs and the Super Fun Time Show? Or what's next? What's going on in the present, and what's going on in the future for TommyNC2010 for the channel?
It's hard to, I'm, it's this and that. So I'm kind of in a period here where, Justin and Tyler both told me that I should get back into vlogging. I just, that fire that used to burn inside of me for vlogging has just kind of dulled out a little bit. But,
And I think I know the reason why. Part of it is I remember we had a private conversation, because it happened to me a little bit. Whenever my dad passed away, for months on end, I didn't upload not one thing. I did a few vlogs here and there, and I'd say it took me a good probably 6 to 8 months to get back with normal streaming and normal vlogging and normal content and stuff. And would you say that affected you too in the same way it affected me a little bit?
I would say mostly a yes, and then also I a lot of the platforms that I was able to make my vlogs through got shut down, and my ability to edit was I had an issue with editing, and then other stuff just kind of unfolded through the years as or after.
It seems like things are getting back on track now, because I remember you said you've got a new editor, you've got a new show, and I think you told me off camera, you said the vlogs will eventually come back.
Yeah, I mean, I might, every once in a while I might do a live stream, a Tommy journal entry, a vlog entry, and just talk about my day and what I did. Today I really just got up, went to work, had a bite to eat, and then just did my job, came home, and just kind of chilled and watched TV.
Nice. So do you think, and I hope I'm not like insulting any of your YouTube fans, do you think the people that watch Tommy Talks, do you think Tommy Talks is gone forever?
A lot of people ask me that, and I can say no comment. Okay.
I don't know. If it's a sensitive subject, no worries, buddy.
There's just we're putting so much into the Super Fun Time show, and I just figured we'll put so much into that than Tommy Talks, because Tommy Talks is kind of a one shell entity, where I was just but Super Fun Time has so many layers to it, and so many things.
And guys, I'm a good friend. I already subscribed on both of my channels to the Super Fun Time show, because Tommy does it on a separate channel now. So you're trying to build up that channel too.
Yeah, and I think we got to. I think right now we're at. Last time I looked, we were at 56 subscribers. I can't remember exactly how many subscribers we have right now. But we've been doing little sketches and topics and little clips and stuff here and there.
And you know what? I think with all your 100,000 viewers on Tommy Talks, those viewers eventually will trickle onto the new channel. I mean, that will only help your guys' cause.
Most definitely. And we've been trying to. It's kind of hit or miss when it comes to views, but we're trying to do the best we can to.
It is. I've noticed over the years, it took me a long time to get monetized just on one channel, let alone both channels. So I've only gotten monetized on my vlog channel, and who knows when I'm going to get monetized on my main channel. So Tommy is right. It has to do. Those algorithms are very tough to. What's the word to figure out? It's not just one thing. It's the views, the comments, the likes, people watching your videos, people commenting on your videos, all of that stuff. All that stuff. All right, next question, Tommy. I'm sorry. My next thing was an unscripted question. So you ask an unscripted question to me, and then you answer your own question. So you ask it, I'll answer it, and then you answer it.
Huh?
Do you know what I mean? So ask me a question, I'm going to answer it, and then you answer your own question.
That confuses me, John. My head just went.
Okay, so if I said, "What's your favorite fruit?" you would say, "It's an apple," and then I would say, "My favorite fruit is grapes."
Okay.
Yeah. So
what's your favorite fruit?
Okay, my favorite fruit. It's a split between grapes and strawberries. What about you?
Strawberries and occasionally an apple.
No. Okay. All right. Next question. Here we go. So, out of all of the streams that you've done, past, present, or actually no, I will say present. What's been your favorite stream so far on the Super Fun Time show? Does one stick out more than the other?
I would say either the one where we were talking about the mafia, or the one we were talking about. We were talking with Eugene, and we had a really good open conversation with him.
Okay.
We've done so many great interviews, and we're double booked right now with interviews. But
next question, now, are you going to kind of do it like the Tommy Talks, where you guys are going to invite guests on the Super Fun Time show, like non-celebrities, YouTubers, celebrities, anyone?
Yeah, we're looking around for that. We're kind of, we're gonna keep it to a decent amount of time to have the guest on, and then then we'll have segments after the interview. So
Got it.
We're
So
kind
a little bit of both. It'll be like just you guys hanging out, talking about things, and then you'll segue into about an hour's worth of an interview, and then back to you guys, or
yeah.
figure it out. Well,
and then we have a cold open. We've been shooting skits. And it takes a decent amount of time to shoot a skit because we have to set the camera up. We'll shoot the skit, and then we'll shoot the different angles, and then Justin will edit it and put it together and make it. Ta-da! And we have like a cold open, and then we'll talk about some stuff, maybe a subject, something in the news, and we have I do a movie review where I tip my hat to different old school movies.
Nice.
And,
Nice. Well, Tommy, I would love to at some point be on the Super Fun Time show. I've watched it many times, so whenever you guys need me on, I am available, my friend.
I understand, man. We'll
I cannot wait. I don't want to rush you. I'm just saying, because me and Tommy have hung out on YouTube and we've hung out outside of YouTube, which leads me to my next question. What is your all-time favorite memory of John Fierce? It can be when we hung out. It can be online. It can be during a live stream. What is it? What is it?
My favorite memory was just walking out of the bedroom and then watching John go, I just jump out of his couch because I was just,
I had to keep my eyes open because of that Nerf gun, buddy. Oh my gosh. But it was funny. I have to admit it was a good joke. It was a good prank. I'd say I don't know if it's my all-time favorite, but it's one of my favorites, Tommy. When me, you, and Sam had that ultimate drunk live stream. Oh, that was so much fun. So much fun.
I haven't spoken to Sam in forever.
I haven't either. He kind of vanished off the face of the earth. I don't know what happened to him. But I'm saying just that night in general was fun.
Yeah.
That was good. That was our second hangout ever.
Yeah, it was.
Like in real life. Because we've hung out many times online, but that was our second favorite hangout in real life.
Well, the first time we got to hang out was after I was down in Florida, and the funny thing about that was we were down for my father's funeral. We were, we were placing his urn in his memorial, and we were just kind of just chilling, and, I texted John. I said, John, how are you doing, man? He's like, yeah, I'm just living down here in Florida. And I'm like, what part of Florida? And he said, I said, I found out that my Airbnb was just 2 minutes down the road from where John lived.
So it was kind of an impromptu hangout because at first I was like, I care about my friends' feelings and their families. And I said, Tommy, I don't want to interrupt. I said, that should be a time where it's not hanging out. You should be you need to be with your family, talk to your family about that. A member of the family has just passed away. And Tommy is so cool. He said, John, after I take care of all my family stuff, I really could use a hangout. I really want to hang out with you. And I was like, you know what, Tommy? Dude, that's so cool that you're making time for me. I'm honored to hang out with you.
Yeah, and it was definitely was that when you had the Terramata?
I got to say, Tommy, we turned a negative into a positive,
Yeah. Was that when I got you drunk on Terramata?
No. That was the night I was talking about. That was you, me, and Sam. We started on the Crystal Skull vodka, and then we went to the Terramata. Yes.
Oh, John is funny when he's drunk. That is one of the funniest.
Tommy, in my hilarious way, I can outdrink Tommy. I can do it. No way. I was so drunk that night. It was beyond belief.
I had to end the stream because John wouldn't end the stream. And John's dangling over his seat. Hey, guys, we're trying to just think John Fearsman. I'm like,
let's just put it this way. There was nothing left of John. I'm like, hey guys, watch Fearsman 27, 26. Yeah, whatever, It was hilarious.
and I had to go, okay, John, it's time to end the stream. You're like, no, I want to keep going. And I'm like, no, John, there's no more in the tank. You're done.
Listen,
You're done.
But here's the thing. Why wouldn't I get drunk with the great TommyNC2010? Why wouldn't I,
People call me great, but I don't know what's great about me exactly. They call me a legend, and they call me this and that.
Tommy, you are not only a legend, you're a great guy, you're a great friend, you're a great pal. I have nothing but good things to say about my buddy Tommy. You've been there. I've gotten advice from you. I've given you advice. So I have nothing bad to say about TommyNC2010. All right, next question. What would you say is your 5 top strengths about you?
Well, okay, 5 strengths about me.
I'll count them off. So number 1,
level-headed.
Level-headed. All right, number 2.
Entertaining.
Okay. Number 3.
Personality.
Okay. Number 4.
Damn looking. Okay. And what is it? Styling and profiling.
Nice. Okay. Next question. Has there ever been a time in your YouTube life or your personal life when you guys are, whenever you're either shooting a video project by yourself or with your friends, where you had to say, I don't feel comfortable making that video project. At first I thought I could do it. I can't go through with this and I can't make that project.
I don't think there's ever really been a project that I have ever been unfriendly about, or wanting not to do.
Yeah. I said, basically what I was asking, has there ever been a project where either you came up with it at first or your friends came up with it, and then you were like, you know what, I don't feel real comfortable about this, I got to back out, or you can't do it? Because not a lot of fans, what the fans see is what you put on the screen on your channel.
Yeah.
They don't always, what I'm asking is they don't always see what goes on behind the scenes.
After the camera turns off. Yeah,
so I was wondering, has there ever been a time where you're like, you know what, at first I thought that was a good idea for a project, but hey, I'm sorry guys, I don't feel right about doing this project. I got to back out. I can't do it.
Well, a while back ago, my channel blew up. I was wanting to do like a kids show, and I thought, okay, we'll call it the Super Drug Puppet Hour.
Okay.
And it would basically be, like a puppet doing all sorts of weird stuff, and then at the end of every episode he dies. But it was just an idea that I thought of, and at that point, back in 2016, I saw lights, and I was just like, I thought of different ideas, and that's just one of those ideas that I just didn't go through with.
Mm-hmm. Got it. Okay, so my next question is, do you still get fan mail? Because the next question involves your fan mail, and so if you didn't get any, I was going to ask that question, but it's
been a while since I gotten anything. I have a P.O. Box 1163.
Okay.
But, I haven't been down there in a while. It's in town, so I haven't been down in a while. I should go down there and empty it out, but...
Well, I guess I'll still ask this question then, since you still have one. I guess it still pertains to it. So when you do get fan mail, what is it's a 2-part question. What is the best thing anyone's ever sent you? And on the other side of the coin, what's been the most weirdest, most random, crazy thing that you've ever gotten?
Well, if you look back on Mailbox Monday, we got a PlayStation that wasn't a PlayStation. It was just a prank. Bunch of books and rocks and stuff like that. Someone sent Hamza him and his kids some guitars. That was the most expensive thing we got.
Okay.
Knives, and we got artwork from fans. And,
nice.
just,
you would say probably the most epic, most cool thing would be the guitars. That's the best thing you've ever gotten.
And the massive Confederate knife that was stolen from me when I was working at another job. He said he would sharpen the blade, then he left town and skipped town with my knife.
So those two things are the best two things. Okay.
Yeah, and there was another knife that I had, a Terminator knife that I got from this one dude that was like in Tennessee.
Nice.
He had a big knife collection. He would send me knives, and I was like, interesting. And some of his artwork is in here in my studio. The beads, or right there. Me pantsless as a Terminator. Like for some reason, he had that theme where I was pantsless, and I was just. But yeah, there's
So let's go to the other side of the coin. What would you say has been the worst gift, the most weirdest thing, the most random thing ever that anyone has ever gotten you that kind of turned your stomach and was like, why did this person send me this?
Someone mailed me a glitter bomb once. But it didn't go off it didn't go off on video. It went off before Hamza even hit record.
Well, thank God for that.
I was like, damn it. And my friend says, what if it's a bomb? And I'm like, thanks, I appreciate you saying that you think it's a bomb. And then right as I pop the cork, bam, it just explodes in my face. And I'm like, I looked at her, I'm like, hush it.
I'd say the best thing I've ever gotten is a couple of things. I've gotten a few paintings of Fearsman that people have actually painted for me. My buddy Visions has like hooked me up with tons of stuff from his website. My friend Larry got me tons of like Ghostbuster, and I like to collect movie trading cards. He got me a bunch of those, so that's a lot of the good stuff. I'd say the most weirdest thing is somebody got me a sex book. Not that I don't need any practice, not that I need any techniques, I'm just fine. But that was probably the weirdest thing anyone's ever gotten me, my friend.
Damn, John.
It was, I opened the box and I was like, wow, okay, this is weird. This is random.
The Kama Sutra.
It wasn't a Kama Sutra, it was a different type of sex book, but I was like, I don't need this. I'm fine. Someone in the chat says, hello, Fears. Hello, chat. Always good to see TommyNC2010. Tommy is the most electrifying entertainer in Hollywood and on YouTube. I agree. All right, let's continue on. Describe the two best accomplishments you've ever done on YouTube, and then describe the two best accomplishments that you've achieved in your personal life off of YouTube.
Well, one of the greatest accomplishments I can have is meeting my biological mother and my biological father, extending my family tree.
Mm-hmm.
I guess, working at a job, that is one of my other biggest achievements is having a part-time job, making the paycheck, working here and making my apartment function and just doing things. Being independent since 2016, I've lived on my own since that time, and ever since I went viral. And
I think those are two great achievements to have off of YouTube. What would you say is your two best achievements that you've achieved with your YouTube channels?
I guess getting my play button, that was one of my biggest achievements right there. I never thought I would ever see the time or day that I would get the old school play button right there. That's like one of the original play buttons from back in the day, and now they just have that cheap piece of crap that just has a silver emblem on it and stuff like that. So,
well, I've yet to achieve that, Tommy, but I hope at some point in my lifetime I get a play button. But if I don't, then at least I tried my best. But it's cool to know somebody that's gotten a play button. That's pretty sweet. All right, so what's your second best accomplishment on YouTube through your channels, would you say?
Well, okay, trying to think. I guess just having a great audience and having people wanting to tune into my show and my channel was awesome. I think that was one of the best achievements that I had, and just trying to keep function with my channel and just try to stay positive.
Okay, so so the next question is when you work on a project, what do you want that project to have inside it? Do you want it to always be funny? Do you want to do dramatic? Is there different elements, or is it different for each project? What do you want when you create a project, either by yourself or with friends or with, a collab? What do you want inside that project, and what do you want?
I would say that, it's a spitball kind of thing. Like, we kind of shoot ideas, we write stuff down, we kind of go back and forth on it. Sometimes there's some funny stuff, sometimes there might be something, poignant that we're gonna push in the skit, but it's a kind of working kind of thing. Kind of like that, kind of a back and forth kind of thing.
You like that, so you want camaraderie with it. You want kind of loosey goosey, kind of spitballing. You want improv in each.
Yeah, we a lot of our stuff we kind of do improv, but also we write it out. We write it out as a sketch, and we want to do some longer stuff in the future, like an episode or something like that. Me and Justin, and a few other people, involved in the episode, and it'll be interesting to see what we can do in the future with people and involving with a certain thing or something like that. Just going from here. Me and Justin have been sitting down writing different stuff. We have some movies that we're working on that we have kind of we're spitballing, and we're writers. Well, he writes, he types, I talk, and then we kind of go back and forth, basically.
I would say it depends on the project with me. If it's a collab between me and Randall, we draw storyboards. We write. I write a little bit. Randall writes a little bit. We also spitball ideas. We also do improv. But if it's a certain project that I'm working on alone, before I do anything, to get the creative juices flowing, I always have a meal or I take a shower. I don't know why, Tommy, but it helps the creative juices get a flowing. Once I film the project, then I just sit here, I get honed in, and I do not stop until the project's done. And I'm a perfectionist, so sometimes I have to edit one video 5 to 10 times, and then I eventually got it.
Damn, John.
Yeah. I'll be like, it could be a little bit better. And then but once I think it's perfect, then I upload it. All right, next. So this is a very broad question. What are the next steps for you? What are the next steps for the channel? What are the next steps for your life in general?
It's hard to say, John. I just take, I just take things day to day, and I just kind of do what I have to do to survive. And it's hard to say, but may entertaining the world and the spectrum of entertainment and just making it happen.
Next question. Has your values changed on your channel from day one to now, or are they always the same? Because I remember when I first found out, it was all about positivity and love and making people laugh. Are all those things still there, or have you added some? Have you taken some away, or is it all the same?
There's still a lot of positivity. I do an inspirational speech at the end of every show for the Super Fun Time show, and the positivity. There's a lot of comedy and their entertainment. So there's a mixture of things. And have I changed since I started on YouTube? No. I mean, I'm still me, still Tommy. And now I know what a subscriber is and a view count is. Back in the day, if you asked me what a subscriber was, I'm like, what's a subscriber? I just kind of uploaded videos to YouTube. I didn't know what I was doing, really. A lot of the original content was accidentally deleted one day, and then I restarted making videos.
Tell me about that. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. It was on Thanksgiving.
I definitely have changed. I mean, I can still remember my two first videos. The very first video I uploaded on Fears Vlogs, it was snowing, and I was driving through a snowstorm, and the very first vlog was me driving to the dentist office through a snowstorm. And then I didn't even film me going in. I just filmed me in the car, and then I got out of the car and said, well, I'm going to go inside and have my dentist appointment, and it was snow falling. That was the very first vlog, and I literally just labeled it going to the dentist office. That was the very first vlog. And then the very first video I ever uploaded on Fearsman26 was I made a short film in college called 5150, and I uploaded the movie trailer that we made for it. That was the very first video I ever uploaded on my main channel. Ever. All right, next question. Have you ever thought about making a company away from YouTube? Like you know how like Roman Atwood makes like a merch store and he turned that merch store into a big business, into a company? Have you ever thought about making some type of TommyNC2010 company?
I've thought about it. My big dream was to make a studio in Black Mountain. And have people come there and use it and be able to do like a YouTube studio where people could come and shoot their stuff, rent it out. Maybe we can do like $40 an hour or something like that.
Casey Neistat did that a little bit. He's one of my YouTube heroes. He did that in New York. I don't know if he still has the studio, but back in the day, he bought some type of, I don't know if it was an apartment. He bought some type of studio in New York City near his YouTube studio. He has his own YouTube studio, and he still owns that one. And I know at some point he had tons of YouTubers renting out that space, and they were making all sorts of content. So you're saying you back in the day you kind of wanted to do something like that.
Yeah.
So my next question is why did that never become a reality? Like, was it too much money?
Possibly. Yeah. And
do you think it could,
also just daily functions of life? Do
you ever think it's still in the cards? Do you think it could still happen one day?
If I ever could find someone that would just give, if I would a donator or someone, a donor that would just want to give me a decent amount of money, and then take that and then try to find a building that we could fund and buy and then have and do stuff and be able to make a profit while trying to help people continue their YouTube career.
That's cool. What would you say is your favorite part about being a YouTuber and working on projects, and why? Why is that your favorite thing about being? What's your favorite thing about being a YouTuber, and why is it your favorite thing?
Meeting the fans, meeting people, and getting to talk to them, and I guess showing them my life and just welcoming them into my life, and just getting to meet all sorts of people. Like I have come to Black Mountain, I've had people yell out TommyNC, and I'm like,
I haven't got to meet as many fans as you, Tommy, but the fans I have met in real life, nothing but amazing people, nothing but amazing experiences.
I've had I had a documentary crew that came here a while back ago and filmed with me, but the documentary got scrapped for some reason. So they came here and filmed with me, but nothing ever happened of it. But
you would say overall your favorite thing is when you do get to meet your fans. That's your all time. Have you ever had the one ultimate fan experience? What's been your favorite fan experience of all time?
I guess meeting Deb for the first night. Deb A. She
is the sweetest lady ever. I mean, I've been in video chats with her, but I'm sure it's an honor to meet her.
She's a very kind lady. She's very hardworking. She's very funny. She's very entertaining, and she's got a heck of a personality on her.
And where did you guys meet for the first time?
We met after 2016, during 2016, when I had a fan contest, and she was apparently watching Cool Duder, and then Cool Duder was talking about me, and she came over and started watching me. Through the years, she was talking to me, and I had a contest where I said, I want you to jump on a trampoline and play a guitar or do something funny on a video, and she did, and she was jumping on her couch. And she won the contest, and So that's one of my favorite things. I mean, I could tell you one of the most failed achievements that I did. I wanted to do a fan meetup in Black Mountain, but
Wow.
sadly the solar eclipse was happening, and it happened the day before, and I had my fan meetup, and one kid showed up, one kid with an action figure, John Cena action figure that he wanted me to sign for some random reason. And
yeah, I don't think it's really that random. I mean, you have a lot of wrestling content on your channel in the past, so that's probably why he wanted you to sign it, because he's a wrestling fan, you're a wrestling fan,
Yeah.
So, all right. So, in your opinion, what are the qualities essential for success in anything, in life, in your job, in whatever? What are the necessities for success?
Just having fun and trying to focus on the next project you're doing. That's what I could say about that.
So, fun and hardworking.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. Okay. So, next question. What is a typical day like in your studio? When you go into the studio to work, to edit, to record the Super Fun Time show, what is a typical day inside the studio?
A typical day. Well, sometimes I come in here and I just kind of chill. I look on my phone, or I find a TikTok I want to do, or we sit out in the living room, or we sit outside. We write something down, and we kind of bounce off each other, me and Justin, and just a typical day is me working basically at my part-time job, and I'm working at my job. I get off around 2 o'clock.
But then, what I'm saying is, after your day job, do you work almost every day in the studio, or do you guys pick certain days to come up with ideas for the show and work in the studio, or is almost every day at some point does it lead you inside the studio?
No, it's we spitball ideas while we're working out. We are in the car.
Okay.
We'll be talking about stuff, and so eventually we get a whole show together. We'll come here in the studio. We'll set up the camera. We'll get the TV turned on. Justin will sit over here. Tyler will sit over there, and then we kind of cold open. We do a show, and we kind of like do it like that basically. And then back in the day, I mean, when I was on the vlogging bug, I would come in here, upload a video to my laptop, and then I'd start working on it. And then, if I had an editor, I would send it out to my editor, and they would edit it for me. And my days are pretty simple. Like I go day to day, just surviving and doing what I can.
Nice. Okay, so the next question is when you invest in a YouTuber and you're like, all right, I've decided to watch this channel. Doesn't matter what YouTuber. The question is what does that YouTuber have to have for you to invest in that person's channel and keep watching? Like, what do they have to have? In your
that would be Chris Perillo, and he was funny and quirky, and his vlogs were interesting. And I remember it was so exciting for me just to try to get into a vlog or get featured my name in a vlog, and I would just send him packages like letters and stuff like that. And it was kind of.
I mean, like, just in general, though, it doesn't have to be a certain YouTuber. Like, when you decide to watch someone's channel, like me or Sega or whoever, what does that YouTuber have to have in order for you to keep focused on that person, keep watching, keep. It's
hard to say, John, because it's just like entertainment, funniness.
Okay.
And, like it's a different spectrum. It's all entertainment.
Got it. I understand. So, and I'm going to answer this question myself. Besides your father's death, I'd say that for me, that's one of the most challenging things I've ever had to deal with my life, and I'm sure you too. But what's another big challenge that you've had to take on in your life and you had to overcome it?
with the reading aspect, like I had to use a reading machine all the time just to read out anything I want to see or have somebody read something to me. Like that's one of the biggest aspects of my life that is hard for me.
But I would say, you know what, Tommy, one thing I like about you is even though that, that's a hard thing for you, one thing about you is you don't give up. A lot of people would just give up and just say, you know what, I can't read, I'm not going to do it. Fuck that. But with you, I've noticed over the years you never give up on your beliefs, your values, your goals, your friends, your family. If you believe in something, because I've been watching for quite a long time, even before we were friends, like when I got first introduced into the community, then I became your friends. Throughout this whole time, you never give up, and I value that quality, my friend.
Thank you.
Because I'm the same way. If I believe in something, I'm not going to give up on it. If I believe in a certain person, if I believe in something, I just won't give up on it. Yeah. So I think that's very important. I think that's another essential quality to be successful in life. If it's like, if you want it that bad, then go and get it, and don't give up on your passions and your dreams. And, because without dreams and passion, then what's worth living, So, because that's a very important part,
Yeah.
So, I am going to bring up the comic book towards the end, but Dank Time Machine has a question. He says, I have a question for Tommy with issue number 2 of the comic. When is Tommy and Debbie going back to the writer's room for issue 3?
There's part 1, part 2, and it's this. Well, technically, this issue is part 3.
Okay, so this is issue. Okay, got it. Well, there you go.
Comic. It's technically the last comic that me and Deb will be working on for a while. Because she has other projects she works on.
Yeah, she told me she's working on a movie set right now, which that's exciting.
She's working on some stuff. She's,
That's very exciting. That's good stuff. All right, next question. So, 9 out of 10, Tommy. 9 out of 10. That was good. That was good. I mean, that had the sound quality. I mean, you were going for it.
John, okay, here's a question for you. I have for you. Was there ever a moment when you were hanging out with me that you regretted hanging out with me because I either cut a fart or something happened? Was there any moment that you...
Well, if you did cut a fart, I never smelt it. Number 2, the only thing I regret is I'm very cranky in the morning. If I don't get my sleepy time, I turn into a monster, man. And after like the second night of the Nerf gun, I gave you the fear of God, Tommy, in my eyes. I'm like, Tommy, put that fucking Nerf gun down. I swear to God. At first you thought I was kidding. I was like, I am not kidding. If you don't put that fucking Nerf gun down, I will throw you out of my house. I'm like, leave me the hell alone. I need to get some sleep. That's the only thing, though. Everything else was fun, though, Tommy. That was the only thing ever. That was the only time ever. But now we can laugh about it, But at the time, I was so dead tired, and I was just like, dude, just leave me alone. I need some sleepy time. That's the only thing, though. I mean, but eventually it turned into a joke, and we can laugh about it now. And I know you were just doing it for good, clean fun, but at that point, I was like, I am so tired. At this point, I'll do whatever.
Hey, you're the one that gave up your bed to me. I was just going to sleep on your couch. You're the one that gave up your bed to me.
The reason why I did that is, 1, I was being a good friend. 2, you were my guest. And I was like, Tommy, I have no problem sleeping on my couch. My couch right over here turns into a bed. I said, feel free to take my bedroom, buddy.
And folks, don't worry. John Fear's bed does not smell like pumpkins, okay? It smells nice. He had it washed. So it's a very nice bed. It's a very nice queen-size bed.
It's it's an XL king. Oh wait, whatever's over a king bed. It's an extra large bed. It's big. It's huge. So yeah. All right, next question, Tom. But yeah, but really, I'll be honest. That's the only thing I really regret was that morning where I kind of got a little short with you.
And there was another moment I remember. I was kind of like play wrestling with you, and then you were just like, "No, Tommy, I'm not doing that." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
That's what I was getting tired, and that also I had enough too. But I'll be honest, like if it would have continued, I wouldn't have cared the wrestling. But that's when I started to get a little tired. But what I really regret is losing my temper just for a couple of minutes and going, "Put that fucking Nerf gun down." You know, I'm done. I've had it. You know. So that's the only thing, though. Everything else was a lot of fun, though. And would I hang out with TommyNC2010? Oh, yeah. And I cannot wait to travel to Black Mountain and more epic adventures ensue. And I finally get to see the studio in the flesh.
Oh, most definitely.
And it's going to be great. It's going to be fun. All right, Tommy, next question. So, hopefully this isn't stepping over like any lines or any boundaries. I know you're single right now, but do you ever think one day you'll get married, have children, anything like that?
Probably I don't see children in my future, but I'm
Early marriage?
I don't know. It's hard to say.
I get it. I understand. I'll be honest, Tommy. I have not met my lucky lady yet, but one day I hope to meet a lucky lady, have children, all that stuff. All right, so let's get into the comic book, buddy. I was going to save it to the end, but I've got a lot of I've still got a lot of questions left, and I want to.
Well, why don't we just wait to the end for the comic book? Like, just keep, and then we'll save it to the end.
All right, because I was like, I know some people had some questions about the comic book, but yeah. So if you want to wait, that's cool. All right, so from my friend Randall. I know you haven't watched all of his content, but I was just curious because Randall wanted me to ask you this. From the content that you've seen of Randall's, what's one of your favorite videos that Randall's ever made?
I've only seen the Fearsman stuff. I haven't really watched any stuff that Randall has done.
Do you like the Fearsman stuff?
It's entertaining. It's definitely interesting, but it's its own cup of tea in its own way.
That is true. It's true. And have you seen Randall's other cartoon, his Cameo Man cartoon?
No, I have not seen Cameo Man.
It's basically like my superhero is Fearsman. Well, I came up with Fearsman, but Randall, even before me and Randall were friends, Randall came up with Cameo Man. Like I met Randall in film school, and we hit it off and we became friends. And then in film school, that's when he officially said, "Hey, Fears, check out this funny cartoon that I made." And the first thing he showed me, or one of the first things he showed me, was his beginnings of making Cameo Man, and it really impressed me. So, have you ever thought about adding some type of cartoon to your guys' channel or to the Super Fun Time show? Any animation, anything like that? Like
maybe we're thinking on stuff. What we could do. We've always thought about maybe it'd be interesting to bring a cartoon to the channel, but there's a lot of work when it goes into doing something like that. And an animator, animating is very complicated and detailed, and you have to go frame to frame. And so, I don't know exactly in the future when we'll do something like that.
That's why I tell my fans, Randall's only one person. It takes him like for one cartoon. It's shot by shot by shot by shot. So for 1 minute of footage, there's probably 45 drawings in there.
Yeah. So
it takes a lot, and so I tell my fans, listen, it'll be worth the wait. So yeah. All right. Next question. So I threw in some funny ones, Tommy. If there was a zombie attack, what weapon would you use in the new zombie world? What would be TommyNC2010's
My
What
favorite weapon would be Sean
choice?
Field. I would just duct tape his legs and his arms together, and I just start slinging him around.
You use John Fears as a weapon?
It's either me or you, John. I'm sorry. You're going. I'm just duct taping you and just get away, get away.
Well, listen. I mean, if any YouTuber is going to use John Fears as a weapon, I mean, I would consider that an honor, my friend.
Well, after a while, you're like, Tommy, get me on this freaking tape. I don't want them to eat me. And I'm like,
by that time, Tommy, I probably would be eaten, so you wouldn't hear John Fears say anything, you know? I'd say I've got two weapons of choice. A nice axe. I think an axe would be good. Or a shotgun. Those are my two. I think I would have to go with those two.
I would say mine would be either a gun or an axe or a sword, you know, but definitely something that I can use easily to get rid of them, because you remember you got a double tap. Poof. Through the head.
Yeah. Okay. Next question, Tommy. Next question. All right, here we go. So, if you only had to eat one meal for the rest of your life, only one, and every day it has to be the same meal, what would that meal consist of?
Steak and mashed potatoes.
Anything to drink or anything for dessert, or just that?
Well, maybe you know, maybe like a sparkling water or something like that, or maybe a Coke, you know. And for dessert, maybe a brownie, you know, like a nice, delicious brownie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice. So, did you ever do any like plays in
Yes,
high school?
I did. I did two plays. I had two play underneath my belt. One was called Beerman and the Firebugs, and the other one was called Little Abner.
And now, Now, before you started filming stuff in your YouTube career, where did those plays take place? In high school, in middle school?
In high school.
Okay, mine started. I actually did a lot of theater work, Tommy, before I got into film. My very first play ever was at church camp. I was 5 years old. I played a wise man, and then I did 3 or 4 plays in elementary school. Did 2 or 3 plays in middle school, and then I did almost every single play in high school, except for one. Because my senior year, I decided to take a break on everything and not do any activities, because from freshman to senior, I was on student council, football, wrestling, track, the drama club, thespian society, student council, the student newspaper. So I had a lot under my belt, and I kept very busy in high school. So senior year, I was like, it's time for a break. I want to enjoy my senior year. So my senior year, I didn't do any after-school activities. So,
well, yeah. During my senior year, I was doing MAID. So I was actually fixing to try to do another play, get another play underneath my belt. And at the same time, MAID was contacting me and wanting to be a part of my life and film that episode. Mm-hmm. And I was going to my drama teacher, was my mentor, and I was like, I'd like to know what this play is about. And he's like, well, Tommy, aren't you doing something with me? I said, well, you know, I'd like to keep my schedule. And he was like, well, Tommy, you know, and then he gave me a note, and he sat down, and he's like, Tommy, here's the thing. You should either do my play or you should do MAID. Which one do you think would be better for you? And I sat there for a bit, and I said, you know what? Doing MAID would probably be more of a door for me to get out there. And
absolutely. Not only did it help your YouTube career, not only did it put you on the map, it also gave you some exposure, you know, to other opportunities. I mean, I would have done the same thing if I was in your shoes, Tommy.
Yeah, but you know, it's you know, I'm glad that he did that as a mentor, and like,
yeah,
really helped me out. And I kind of, you know, went forward and did that, and I had a great time. And I got bronchitis while I was filming that show, and I was miserable towards the end, but it was a great time.
So since you brought that up, I've got 3 questions about May that I didn't get to last time. When you guys actually filmed it, after the episode was out, it was all said and done. Did they have any deleted scenes that they did not put in the actual episode?
It was quite. Andrew apparently filmed a lot of stuff with me that they didn't use in the episode because Andrew was just every day filming with me and doing all sorts of things with me, and he didn't. There was some things that he did not put in the episode.
Did they ever tell you why they didn't put it in the episode?
Because it was just too much footage. It was like there was so much that they had that they were putting together for a project, and Maid's just like, a beginning, a middle, and an end, and that's what they wanted. And there was just like, he was with me for like, I think 2 or 3 weeks.
Oh, just constantly filming, just
me going places, doing stuff, and like things. They wanted to film at my work, but my work wouldn't have it. Like that was a no-go. That was definitely one part I hated.
It's a good thing that they didn't, because then the YouTubers would have found out where your day job would have been,
Yeah.
And it probably would have been a nightmare,
Yeah.
Because, like we all know, there's good people on the internet and there's terrible people on the internet, I'm not gonna mention any names, but boy, do me and Tommy know that quite well.
Oh yes, like we have a few I have a few thorns on my side that when I hear that person, their voice makes my spine just go no.
Me too. Again, not mentioning any names, but I'm right there with you, Tommy.
All I can say is, hey, Tommy.
Enough said. Enough said. He's also done it to me. Hey, Fears, what's going on, man? Hey, man. I know exactly who you're talking about, Tommy.
Yes.
Enough said, my friend. Enough said. So, yeah. All right. Next question about Maid. When you watch the episode, what is your personal favorite scene in May in the entire episode, and why is that your favorite scene? Like why does that scene stand out to be the best?
My favorite part was when I threw up.
Do you like that because you found it funny, or why is that your favorite scene?
Because it happened to me and I witnessed it and I got to see it. And at the time I was watching that clip, I was eating a hamburger and I looked up, I just saw my going, and
I mean, you puked a lot, Tommy. It wasn't just like one puke, it was like a big puke, and then like a bunch of little mini pukes came out. I mean, it was a lot.
Yes.
On the show. And I was like, damn, Tommy is so tired after running, and you could tell in your face where you're like, I've had enough, I'm done. And then the guy's like, come on, Tommy. He's like, you can do it. And then all of a sudden, Tommy's like, no, I'm stopping, because guess what's going to happen? Bam. And then it all came out.
Well, they didn't show you that I had eaten pizza, mashed potatoes, drank chocolate milk. They only showed you the part where I had pickles and a sparkling water that day, and which is very detailed. They slowed down me biting into a pickle, and then just me drinking was funny at that, but they didn't show you that I had eaten pizza that day, pickles, and I was not ready to go freaking running up a freaking hill in a three-piece suit.
I'll be honest, Tommy, I'm surprised that you picked that as your favorite part. I would have thought your favorite part was actually meeting that guy with the glasses and the director and him talking about, all right, your challenge is to make a short film. To me, I would think that would have been your favorite part.
Really, honestly, every bit of Maid is my favorite because it's just like it's a very entertaining experience. It was stressful, but it was fun at the same time. And
fun. It looked fun. It looked like a lot of fun.
Because of Maid, I got to go to New York. I got to go to New York free.
Was that your first time ever in New York?
Oh yeah, I went to Ground Zero, but at the time, Ground Zero was being worked on. it was just piles of dirt everywhere, and like I didn't get to really see the museum that they had, but I did see like the level of where they were working on it. And
Now, when you flew out for that, did your dad go with you? Did your mom go with you? Or
both, they both went, and we actually stayed in a hotel in Times Square.
Okay.
Which at one point I looked outside, I saw a black limo, like a limo car, pull up, and John Travolta was actually apparently in New York that day. And I was crazy. I was like, man, I wish I could bump into him. Like, that'd been cool, but that never happened because like I kind of just stayed in my room. And then when I wasn't like, I did some looking around in New York, but then I was mostly in the studio doing sound recording for my episode.
I gotta say, I've always wanted to go to New York and New York City and all that. I never have gotten a chance, but at some point, I'm definitely gonna make the trip out. Because my favorite movie is filmed there, or was filmed there, Ghostbusters, and I'm gonna hunt down all the movie locations, and I'm a big nerd, and I'm gonna get a photo in front of every single one of them. So yeah,
I heard that the firehouse is still active. They still
it
it's
is.
an active firehouse, and people go there every day and take pictures.
It is a working firehouse, and they actually that firehouse has their own YouTube channel, and I subscribed to it about a year or two ago. So that
Stephen Kenny is one of the other reasons why that place is still around, because he like I think he started a thing where they couldn't shut it down because the governor of New York was trying to shut down these fire departments, including that one too.
now they can't because of the film. I don't know who. Someone made it a historical landmark, and so now they can't tear it down because even before the film was shot, that firehouse was made in 1920 something. So it's like one of the oldest firehouses in New York City. So I think it's a mixture of the movie and how old the building is. I think they can't tear it. But I did hear something about that, Tommy. That's a good point that you bring up.
Here's a question for you, John. When
Yes?
it comes to the Ghostbusters series now, what do you think is the next direction that we could be seeing from these couple next Ghostbusters movie? Because then at the end we saw that the little guys were like running off with one of the cars or a truck. And do you think that there's going to be other Ghostbusters involved, and that it's going to be like an entity involving with?
I mean, this is where I see Ghostbusters going. Eventually, we all love the original Ghostbusters. We love the original team. Eventually, people are going to get older, and maybe not now because a lot of the old Ghostbusters are still alive and they're still in the films. Eventually, they're going to get so old that they're going to do. And they've already kind of started to do a passing of the torch movie, but eventually they're going to get so old where they can't act anymore, and they're going to put them in a film and say, "This is the final appearance, of the old Ghostbusters. It's on you guys now. We're fully passing the torch." And then it'll be all the new Ghostbusters, and then I also see them recruiting. You know how, like, each state has got their own Ghostbuster club?
Yeah.
I see in the future them getting people from all different Ghostbuster clubs into the movies, because those fans of those clubs are dedicated. And I've met some. I haven't met all of the clubs, but I've met, when I was studying in film school in Phoenix, I met the Phoenix Ghostbusters. When I still lived in St. Louis, there's two, I believe, in St. Louis. There's the downtown St. Louis Ghostbusters, and then there's the just Missouri in general, like the whole state of Missouri. There's a Ghostbuster club. So
it's crazy that they have things like that, clubs where like they're like, our news today, proton packs should be make sure are secured, and hell Ghostbusters, all hell Ghostbusters.
But I give them a lot of credit because when you love something that much, I mean, that's dedicated fans, but they also dedicate their times to like hospitals, Normal hospitals, children's hospitals, they dedicate their time to certain types of charities, and I admire that, you know. So,
Okay.
but those few things I see coming to the Ghostbuster franchise, I also see at some point Slimer changing from a bad ghost to a good ghost, because if you remember, in every single movie, he's always mad, he's always pissed off, he's always a slob, you know. But the only time Slimer's been a nice guy, a good guy, is in the real Ghostbusters cartoons. That's the only time he's been lovable and nice. Every single movie, he's usually upset, pissed off, just mashing food in his face, you know, just eating a lot.
Who is Slimer supposed to be based off of?
It's based off of John Belushi.
Yep, John Belushi, and they they modeled it after him apparently. So like,
I am probably the biggest Ghostbusters fan. You cannot stump Fears on the Ghostbuster trivia, my friend. But those few aspects I see coming to the film. I also see them, like, maybe a ghost one day will join the team. Like maybe Slimer will join the team, and Slimer will help them bust other ghosts. That would be interesting. I'd like to see that.
you know, one person I'd love to see come back to the series, but he hasn't come back really. Rick Moranis.
Absolutely, he needs to come back. Absolutely.
I heard he's doing some stuff with Disney, but like, he got slugged in the face a while back ago, and then like stopped making appearances, and you know,
Well,
I don't know.
The reason why he essentially quit acting for a little while is his career was going great, and then suddenly, I can't remember why, I think his wife died of some type of cancer.
Yeah, his last movie was Bully. Like, yeah. I think it was Bully.
Yeah,
and that was one of the last movies he did.
And he had to quickly say, well, it's going to be hard now being a single parent. The responsible thing to do is quit acting right now and come back to acting after I take care of my kids, and when they're fully grown and they can take care of themselves, then come back to acting. And that took a long time, and now he's slowly but surely getting back into acting. And I know he's done a couple of cell phone commercials recently. I've seen those.
With Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, that was a great commercial. That was really funny. I enjoyed that. It was good to see him back on, even though it wasn't the big screen, you know, just to see him on the screen again, I was like, that's pretty cool. I did hear about the Disney thing. They want him to make another Honey, I Shrunk the Kids movie.
Yeah.
And I think he'll do it.
Sometimes I think with certain movie series, it's like, clear.
But I don't think it's...
In my opinion.
Did you hear if it's going to be a sequel or is it a reboot?
What?
The Honey, I Shrunk the Kids project that I want him for.
I don't know. I haven't really been paying attention to it. Like, I've heard some rumors.
Because I haven't heard much.
John, question. You're lactose intolerant, aren't you?
I am.
So you can't eat certain kind of cheeses, am I right?
Well, it goes beyond that. Cheese, milk, yogurt, ice cream, anything with lactose. But I'll be honest, over the years it's gotten better, Tommy, so I can eat certain types of lactose just in small amounts. I can't eat lactose in big amounts. Or
you're saying, okay, now this is just a scenario. So if you were kidnapped by someone and someone wanted to torture you, making you eat lactose and stuff that would be the most horrible thing, am I right?
That would be one of the most horrible things, because I'd probably be shitting my ass off.
Don't be getting any ideas, folks. Don't be kidnapping John Fears. That's very wrong.
Yeah, that would be bad. Yeah.
Of course. Okay, John, here's a question. Sorry, I know you have so many questions.
Lactose products, getting kidnapped in general, that would be bad. Just that, you know.
Okay, if someone was to lure you into something how would they catch you? How would they surprise you and like
Tommy,
nab you?
they wouldn't. They wouldn't. I'm smarter than them. No one would lure me into anything, you know?
So you're saying that a top quality proton pack just left out in the middle of nowhere, top quality movie designing line, you wouldn't be like, ooh, a proton pack. I guarantee.
Proton pack just laying out in the street, first of all, that's fishy to begin with. But I definitely would think about taking it, but the minute I saw somebody about to kidnap Fears, I would be like, that's not going to happen, you know?
Mine would be a Snickers or just either a WWE title belt. I'm like, ooh, a title belt! Whack! But then they would be like, damn, we can't pick them up and just leave them.
Yeah, they're not going to lure me into anything, Tommy. They're not going to, like, tie a string onto a proton pack. They're like, come on, Fears, come on, come on. I'll be like, no, you can kiss my ass. That's not going to happen, you know?
Okay, John, continue with your questions and stuff.
That was funny, though, Tommy. Yeah, would I be lured into something? No, I don't see myself being lured into anything. You know, if I don't want to do something, I'm gonna shut it down immediately. You know, no. But that was funny. All right, Tommy, I got 5 more questions, and then we're going to talk about the comic book because I really want to get to that. 5 more questions. Here we go. So my last 5 questions are: is there a project that you did make, but you almost thought about giving up on it?
Not really. No, like there has been really
projects that you've worked on it. You've always said, "I'm going to finish this." And
Scar, the project that I really wanted to push, I made, and it never happened. It didn't go anywhere.
Got it.
They thought it was too violent. They thought it was too school shooter-ish.
Oh, okay, gotcha. But Tommy, I haven't watched the film that you made for Made in quite a while, but I have watched it 3 times so far in my life, and each time I really did enjoy it. I think you did a really good job.
Did it make you cry? Did it make you feel like oddball?
It didn't make me cry, but I did enjoy the film. I thought it was well put together. I thought it was well shot. I liked the actors that you picked for it.
Yeah.
And, I thought it was a well-constructed, put-together film. I really do.
Crazy thing is, you know how they talk about other projects and stuff like that in movies, like, for instance, Back to the Future with, Michael J. Fox and, like, what's his face?
Christopher Lloyd.
No, the original Marty.
Oh,
Mark Stoltz.
Eric Stoltz.
Eric Stoltz. I had an Eric Stoltz at one point. When we were filming it, we had another dude. His name was, I'm just going to say, random dude, and he played oddball for a percent of it. And he was a lot thinner, and we shot most of the movie with him. And then halfway into it, he quit. Like halfway into the project.
So why did he quit?
He had a problem with someone that had done something mean to him, and he was very upset about it, and he just went home, and he didn't stay to finish the film with us. And at that point, we had to go back to the drawing board and, like, redo everything. And this one dude, Storm, my friend Storm, big guy, really decent dude, came up to me like, "What you doing, Tommy?" I said, "How would you like to be my star?" And he's like, "What?" And I'm like, "How would you like to be the lead in a movie?" And he's like, "Sure, Tommy." And I hand him my trench coat and a few other things, and we reshot everything. We started from the reshot every scene, and we did film at my prom, but that never came out because it was the Eric Stoltz situation where he was a freshman, and I got him into my senior prom to film that scene, and it turned out that a lot of the kids hated my guts when I was like filming at their prom, and they did not like that because there was a few people I had to tell, "Okay, please dance," or "Don't dance," and then people would be staring at me. And when I finally wrapped on that.
Did they know that you were filming there for Maid?
Yeah.
Did the principal say, "Hey, Tommy's not just doing this to make it a joke of your prom. He's doing it because you guys in the film, and you guys are going to be on Maid, and that's the reason why he's filming this prom scene for his film for Maid."
And at the end, you do get to see me at the prom dancing with like Ashley and hanging out and stuff like that. You do see that part.
See, that's one thing I don't get. Why was everyone mad that you shot at the prom? Like, if I was in high school back in the day and someone was like, "Hey, we're going to shoot a movie at the prom," I would think that would be a cool thing to do.
Well, with filming movies or filming TV shows, like, you have to stop everything. Everything's unnatural, and you have to kind of like tell people what they're doing. And
so
then
was everybody at the prom like?
No, there wasn't a lot of people were mad, but they were just like kind of flustered because they wanted to do their own thing. And I kind of took over the environment in there. And
so how long was the prom, and how long did you shoot there?
Not that long. We shot a little bit.
Like, would you say for an hour you shot?
Maybe for an hour, and then we finished the scene, and then we wrapped it. But then turns out that after the guy quit, I had to reshoot that whole entire prom scene. And we one of the jokes was that we had more women than guys. It's like we're filming at a lesbian prom. And I said, "What's wrong with having a lesbian prom?" "Tommy, no."
Oh my gosh.
There was more women that showed up for that, and dudes. And like, what are we gonna do here? Like, I'm trying to like find a dude that I could throw in a tuxedo or a suit. You know, I found a few dudes, and there's like a few shots of like people dancing together, but it was an experience.
So my last question is, before we get to the comic book stuff and promote your comic book, I've always wanted to know this. When I watched Maid, it may have been just for the cameras. This may have been true. What was the deal between you and that cameraman? What was his name, the cameraman that was helping you shoot your short film?
I can't remember his name, but he was just kind of, you know, he was kind of just he was upset about stuff, and like he.
But did Maid put you guys together, or were you guys really friends in high school, or did Maid say, "Hey, we're gonna put this"?
Yeah, they said, "Come on and work with Tommy," and you know, it was kind of, but we eventually worked things out, you know, and.
Have you guys ever kept in touch? Like
no, like he's moved on with his life. He's doing other things.
I was just curious because at first it seemed like you guys were getting along, and then he finally said, "You know what, Tommy? The hell with you. I can't take this anymore. I'm done. I'm not shooting your video anymore." And I thought, well, is this for real, or is this just for the Maid episode?
It was real. It unfolded because he was. You know, because when you're shooting a movie, you have to take time to shoot different scenes and you know, make sure that everything's perfect, and you know, you always got to check the gate and see what's going on, and you know, he was in always a hurry to leave and go home. So like, it was moments that then at that moment when I fired him, I thought, then we brought on the other guy. That was really cool, and he helped film the rest of the movie.
So behind the scenes, what made you? So you fire him at first, and then you have some guy fill in for a little bit, but eventually in the Maid episode, the original guy came back and said, "You know what, Tommy, I'm going to help you film the end of it."
No, he didn't film the last part of it. He just came back and came for the premiere. Like, he filmed some of the stuff.
Because I remember him apologizing, and So what made him come back? Did Maids contact him and say, "Hey, can you guys just like make up?" Did he come back on his own and apologize, or did you apologize to him first, or what?
I apologized to him, and like as you saw the way the episode went, that's how we set it up. That's how it got all happened.
Okay. All right, cool. Yeah, I've always wanted to know that. I was like, was that real, or was it just for the episode to get a little drama going, or what? All right, so thank you. I've always wanted to know that. I was just curious because I was like, wow. I'm like, was that real, or was it just part of the show? I'm like, I'm gonna ask Tommy. All right, so Tommy, I got a couple of questions about the comic book. We're getting towards the end of the interview, and we've saved the best for last. I came up with a couple questions. Number one, right off the bat, who invented this idea for the comic book? Did you and Deb both come up with it, or did Deb contact you and say, "Hey, Tommy, I got an idea for a comic book," or did you contact her first?
Are we talking about the original comic book or the sequel?
Well, let's start at the origins. Like how did the first Tommy comic come to life?
I basically said to Deb, I would love to have a comic book. And she was like, okay. And then one day she just started tinkering and drawing stuff, and then it just happened. And at some point, you're going to have Deb here on the show so you can interview her and get her side of it.
Yes, I am going to interview her and do a more detailed analysis about her work, the comic book, all of that. She couldn't come on today because she's on a movie set. So I wrote her on Twitter and said, hey, whenever you're done working on that set, I would love to have you on as a guest so I can do a more detailed interview because I've got certain questions that I want to ask her. So the first comic book came upon when you were like, Debbie, I know you're an artist. I know you like to write. I know you like to draw. Would it be possible if I could have my own comic book?
No, it was more like, hey, Deb, I'm mad love. One of my biggest dreams is to have a comic book. And she was like, okay, just a second. And then she did some tinkering. She looked at my face and she drew up something. And one of the first images she showed me was this image right here. That was one of the first.
I'll be honest, she's a good artist, Tommy. That is spot on. I mean, if you wanted a cartoon version of Tommy, I mean that's pretty spot on.
And the Ingalls store, this was the original. It was black and white when we made this one.
And to all my YouTube fans, Tommy, I am a man of my word. I am not just buying the new comic book. I'm going to buy Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3.
We're holding that to you, John.
I will. I promise.
All of us, the fans, me and Deb, we're all holding that to you.
Scout's honor. In a couple of weeks, I'm going to buy it. I promise.
All three, I checked it up on Amazon. It's like $46. It's not that expensive.
Fine. That's fine. Whatever it is, I will get. I'm actually going to get 2 copies of the one that Fearsman's in. One to frame, and then one just to read.
Well, Part 2 and Part 2 and Part 3 have John Fearsman in it.
Oh, I thought Deb said Fearsman only makes an appearance in the latest comic book, doesn't he?
Yeah, the latest one. He this one right here.
Oh, I didn't know he was in Part 1. Okay, I didn't know that.
Actually, just a second. Hold on.
Oh wow! Here, let me show that to the fans.
Look at that. There's Fearsman.
There's Fearsman in the back. I'm so honored to have Fearsman in it.
Yes.
So that's how the first comic went down. So once you guys were done with the first aspect of the first comic,
we just kind of went she did her thing, I did my thing, and it was a couple years later that we decided to start working on this one. And
so the first comic's done, and then you make Part 2, which is Part 1 of that comic. So who brought up that conversation?
Well, it was Deb, and she, and I kind of came up with the idea. The storyline is that I've had a wrestling company since 2016. I've been successful, but now basically I'm going bankrupt, and I have to figure out how I'm going to survive.
Mm-hmm.
So this bad YouTuber wants to buy my wrestling company, but we have a tournament, and he controls these army of robots to wrestle my soldiers, to
Okay.
wrestle my wrestlers, to see we call him the gnome, and he's kind of the bad guy of the storyline. So
in each storyline, you and Deb sat down on each comic book, 1, 2, and 3, and you guys wrote each story together.
Yeah, like she wrote it, and then I just talked, and she wrote down what I would say, and designed things off my face and different things, and she went into a lot of detail to try to create a good comic.
I will say I've got one discrepancy, Tommy. I'm not going to mention any names, but I do believe that one person, and I think you know who I'm talking about, did not deserve to be in the comic book. That's all.
I questioned it too. I was like, really? And she's like, yeah, he's a part of your culture, your fan culture. And I'm like,
that's one.
You mean my troll culture? You mean
that's one thing that I do not agree with Debbie. He doesn't deserve it at all. In my eyes, he does not deserve to be in it. The hence word is he's a troll. He's not a real fan. He's a troll. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah. But besides that, Tommy, the rest of the drawings that Debbie showed me were absolutely fantastic. To quote a phrase, top quality on the drawing. I've already read some of it because Debbie would send me, whenever she would get done with a portion of the comic, she would send it to me and you. I would read some. I'd be like, this is good. I would get some. I'd read a little bit more, and I'm like, this is getting really good. So I can't wait to get the full product and read it. So my next question is after all 3 are made, where can the fans get them, and how much are all 3 comic books?
Well, as I said, all 3 of the comic books on Amazon are like $46.
So if you want to buy them as a set, it's $46.
Yeah, like individually, it's like as I checked with not overnight shipping, it's I think like $46.
Nice. So is it
spitballing? That's now. Don't hold that to me. Don't hold me over open fire like some people want to do.
I got it.
If you want to put it in Amazon and check it out and see the price, don't hold me to but it's $12 for the comic, and it's entertaining read.
And so, where would they go? Where can they find the links to click on it to buy it?
You can check on Deb's page, or you can check on Amazon. TommyNC2010 Ultimate Showdown. You can type in that also.
If you go to Amazon and write in TommyNC2010 comic book, it should pop up.
Yeah, our TommyNC2010 Ultimate Showdown, it might pop up.
And where's Debbie's page located? Like, does she have the link on all of her social medias, like on her Twitter?
I think, yeah, she has a link there on her social media. Deborah Abbott at Twitter.
I was about to ask her her full name. So if you guys want to find those links, anywhere, go to Deborah Abbott on her Facebook, her Instagram, her Twitter, her YouTube channel.
I think it's her Twitter mostly, but she does TikTok also.
Yeah. But, so any social media that she's under, she has her Amazon account linked to it. Click on the link, like Tommy said, all 3 comics, part 1 of part 2, and then part 2. All of them, $46 together as a package. Buy it. Show the support. What else do you want to talk about before we end it, Tommy? What else? Is there anything that you want else to promote about the comic book?
No, I'm good. Basically, for everybody to stay positive and stay healthy, and remember always to give John some love. You're watching the John Fears channel on TommyNC2010, and that's the bottom line.
I appreciate that, Tommy. You're a good friend. And from one friend to another, and from one YouTuber to another, I am honored, and I can't thank you enough for putting my character in your comic book. When you and Deb came to me, they're like, John, we're not fucking around. How would you like to have Fearsman in a comic book? And I was like, well, hell yeah. I could not believe it. I was like, I'm honored. This is great. It should be a lot of fun. So, yeah. All right. Well, we will end each interview with the questionnaire that was made famous by James Lipton on Inside the Actor Studio. I've already done it with you, Tommy, but we're going to do it again. And if you want to use the same answers, you're more than welcome. If you want to change up some answers, go right ahead. All right, question 1. What is your favorite word of all time?
Favorite word?
Favorite word?
Turd muncher.
Okay. What is your least favorite word?
Stop.
Stop? Okay. What sound or noise do you love?
Probably the sound of a woman.
Okay. What sound or noise do you absolutely hate? You can't stand it.
Shrieking.
The what?
Shrieking.
Oh, okay, got it. What inspires you? What turns you on? What excites TommyNC2010? What gets Tommy out of bed?
Life.
Okay. What turns you off? What do you hate? What turns you off about life?
Logan Paul and Jake Paul. That's what turns me off.
I agree, Tommy. They're pretty weird. They're weird.
Cucks. Yeah, they're absolute cucks, and Logan Paul and Jake Paul both can suck one because like Tyson was gonna kill.
They have done terrible things. They're terrible human beings. I'd say the worst thing. One of those brothers, didn't they film? They were in the woods.
Body.
Yeah, they were in the woods, and they had the audacity to film a dead body. That is so messed up. It's beyond belief.
Yeah, you were looking for a dead body. Yeah, we didn't know. We were going to see a dead body, but you were looking for one.
Yeah, and I was like,
you filmed it, and you uploaded it to YouTube, and the algorithm pushed your video.
And I was like, you already defined that you were looking for one, and then all of a sudden they changed their bullshit story. And I'm like, you guys are so full of crap, it's beyond belief, you know.
Don't get me started on Jake Paul. He's a twit.
Those two guys I would never interview in my entire life, Tommy. They're not worth.
Even if someone paid you a lot of money to do it.
No way. Like, I have no respect for those two guys. They're horrible. All right, next question. What is your favorite curse word of all time?
Favorite curse word?
Of all time, Tommy.
I don't like to swear, but as long as no one holds it to me.
Everyone's got a favorite, though, Tommy. What is your fave?
Fucking cocksucker, dickhead, fuckface.
That's a nice one, and a very long one, too, my friend. I mean, that was like, bam, 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 bam.
Rat shit, bat shit, dirty old twat. 69 assholes tied, hooray, lizard shit. Fuck!
Wow, that was a lot.
You know who that comedian is? Like that's from him. Like I can't remember his name, but he was an old school comedian. He passed away from a heart attack. I think he was one of those guys that like.
I can't think.
Cursing is just really just words. There's nothing wrong with cursing, you know. Like
I can't think of his name, Tommy, but I know exactly who you're talking about. All right. Next question. What profession other than yours would you like to attempt?
Directing.
What profession would you absolutely, under no circumstance, like to attempt?
Porn.
Agreed, Tommy. Agreed. All right. Final question. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say to you when you arrive at the pearly gates?
How you doing, buddy?
Nice. Well, Tommy, I can't think.
Here's a place, and in my opinion, what heaven is I believe heaven is like a very nice upper class hotel that you stay there forever and you never leave. You know, like everybody has their own individual room, and there's a main lobby where everybody meets each other and just talks to each other, and that's my opinion in heaven. And my father is the man that takes the place of the main dude that runs the gate, and he does it every Friday or Mondays. you know.
I've got two things that I would love God to hear because I've had such a full life so far, and I've had good times and bad times and epic adventures. I would just love to have God look at me and go, boy, do we have a lot to talk about, Fears. Either that, or whenever I walk in, I would love for him to say, because I love my dad so much, I would love for him to look at me and say, hey, Fears, your dad and your grandfather are over there, and the women are over there. So those two, I wouldn't care. Either one of those would be great.
But did you hear that?
But just for God to be like, hey, Fears, your dad and grandfather are over there, and the bar is over there. So yeah, there you go.
I just can't imagine alcohol being in heaven. Like, just like, you know, that's a human substance. Like,
yeah, but then I could like finally reunite with like my grandfather and like, you know, crack down some beers. You know what I'm saying? You know? So I think that would be awesome. I think that would be really sweet.
If I got to heaven, first thing I do is find my dad and my grandfather and just different people that I've lost in my life. You know.
Joey says, am I seen on this channel? I can absolutely see you, Joey. Absolutely. So yeah. In heaven, there's no beer. That's why we drink it here. I guess so. I just think it would be cool to have. I never got to have a beer with my grandfather. You know, I was too young because my grandpa died.
I was at the age where I really couldn't drink around him, but he didn't like drinking. But you know.
Now I was lucky enough to have a couple of beers with my dad before he passed away, but I never got to have a beer with my grandfather. That's kind of the reason why I said that. So I think it would be cool to have a beer with my grandfather. Yeah. My grandfather was a pretty awesome guy. Well, I'm taking off, Tommy, but thanks so much for the interview, buddy. This won't be the last time we do this, and I wish you luck on and success on this new comic book endeavor, my friend. I hope lots of people go and buy it. The new comic book's out. Also, the number 1 and number 2 are out, so why not? Why wouldn't you get 1, 2, and 3? That's what Fearsman plans on doing. So, and we like to thank also Debbie for making this a reality. And also, big shout out to the fans that believed in the comic book also.
Also, stay tuned for when John will interview Deb. And I might be there, maybe. It depends on the situation, but you know.
Absolutely, yeah. If we can get you back on and have you and Debbie on, you know, for her interview, because I mean, I've interviewed YouTubers, I've interviewed some famous people, but I've never interviewed a writer. I've always wanted to interview a writer, and she, you know, she's a pretty good writer. But not only is she a writer, she's, you know, she's other things too. Like, you know, she's worked on movies, she's worked in animation, she writes, she's a novelist. So I would love to interview her on about all that, you know.
Yeah,
I think that would be a fantastic opportunity, and plus Debbie is so sweet, you know. Debbie is, you know, fantastic.
Most definitely.
Vision says, "Do it, Tommy. Press it. Get Fears a date with Debbie." Oh Lord, good old Visions. Good old Visions. Oh, I'm sorry, Joey said that. Excuse me. So yeah.
Oh, he's talking about this. He's saying, "Go on, Tommy, press it." Like it's an air horn. Like I had an air horn in my hand.
Flip side. I didn't know what it was at first. Yeah, Tommy, if you want to give it a squeeze, go for it. Hang on, Tommy. Do it one more time. There you go. There you are.
It's kind of dying.
There you are. Well, Tommy, this was fun, buddy. Thanks so much for interview number 2, my friend.
Awesome blossom.
And if you guys follow my channel, Fears is going to take about an hour break, and I'm going to be back later on Fears Vlogs for stream number 2 for the day. So, Well, thanks, Tommy. I really appreciate it. Like I said, once again, I appreciate the interview. I appreciate all the support. I appreciate the friendship, my friend. And good luck on the comic book. I hope you get 1 million copies sold, my friend. I really do. Awesome. All right, so we're taking off. But don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to this guy right here, TommyNC2010.
And give John remember one thing about it is if you ever see John Fears in public, just give him a big old smooch on the lips.
If you're a woman, yes. If you're a woman, I agree. If you're a woman, yes. I can do that. I can definitely do that. All right, but Tommy, you are great. You are awesome. We're taking off. This is Fears, and this is TommyNC2010. And we're taking off. So peace, deuces, and we'll see you guys later.